you. Wow. Wow. It's great to be with you. Great to be with you. Here's my friend. He travels all over the place, this guy. He's seen a couple of them. How many have you seen now? 30. He's a serious fan. And where do you live? Okay, and you voted for Trump, that I can tell you. We did very well in Tennessee, I will tell you. He's from Tennessee, but he travels all over it. He's a great guy. He's actually a good man. Where are you from? Oh, I like the Philippines, too. I love the Philippines. So, folks, thank you very much for being here. This has been an amazing period of time. I don't know, do you have seats? You could sit down, right? Sit down. We'll be here for a long time. We'll be here for a long time. So we're going to speak for a couple of minutes. And oh, what a nice crowd. They turned away a lot of people. A lot of people. But now we're having a lot of friends come in. Do you notice how nice everything is? Nice and soft and beautiful. And do we love Wisconsin, right? Do we love it? We love it. Hello, folks back there. So I just want to thank you all. Look, we have something that's so special going on. It's a movement. And Wisconsin's very important. Ideally, who's going to vote on April 5th? Who's going to vote for Trump on April 5th? Good, good. No, we're having great enthusiasm. And I think we're going to have a lot of crossover votes. You're going to have Democrats coming across. You're going to have independents coming across. You're going to have people that never voted before coming across. And no poll, I think the polls don't take that. Do the polls? The polls aren't even taking that into advantage, all right? They're not really discussing that. We get tremendous crossover votes. And I think we're going to do great. And frankly, we love the Democrats if they cross over. Do we agree with that? Do we love them? And the independents. And the people that have never voted before. You know, it's amazing. When I do shake hands with people or I do whatever they call it, the rope lines, they call it, where I sign. And we'll do a little one of those little suckers if you want something after. But, you know, when I do them, every 20th person says to me, Mr. Trump, I've never voted before. It's amazing. I've never voted before. And they'll be wearing like a Trump shirt like that. Stand up with that beautiful Trump shirt. Look at this handsome guy. He's shy. He got up and then down very quick. Oh, you pulled him down, right? There he is. Look at this guy. He's not shy. He's not shy. Whoa. He's not shy. I love this guy. Thank you, man. That's so cool. That's very cool. I haven't seen that shirt around. I'll tell you, I don't know if they got that one on television. I have a feeling they're not allowed to. But it's been amazing. And you know, we're winning a lot. We've won 21 or 22 states. It was just announced yesterday that Missouri, we just won Missouri because we got the vote. So that was good. You never know. You know, I won the state, and then they said they're doing a recount or whatever they call it. And when you hear that, he said, I also won Iowa. Well, that's a very interesting thing. There's a lot of truth to that. But with Missouri, we won. Now, we won Louisiana, and we won it by thousands of votes, and we don't get as many delegates as Cruz. And you tell me how that works. No, but think of it. You work there, you go, you make your speeches, you do everything. The people are fantastic in Louisiana. And we go out and do our thing. And then we find out we won, and we're happy. And then when we get the delegates, we don't get as many as Cruz. You tell me, this is a straight system, folks? It's not. You better be careful. It's terrible. No, it's terrible. It's terrible. What's going on is terrible. But the good news is we're leading by a lot. We're leading by hundreds of delegates, and we're leading by millions of votes. I think over 2 million votes more. And nobody has seen anything like this ever. The Republicans, which a lot of people thought was a little bit out of it, right? I mean, we have to be honest. And we are up almost 70% in turnout for the primaries and caucuses. And I must say, I like primaries better than caucuses. You walk in, you vote, and you leave, right? With the caucuses, you sit down, you have tea, you talk about it for 10 hours. After that, these caucuses, I'm not sure that it's a good system. I think that, and honestly, I think the right system is you want to walk in, not be influenced improperly, walk in, vote, and go home. And so I'm a fan of primary, not the caucuses. I've always felt that. But I want to thank you. We've had some really great numbers come up in Wisconsin, and a lot of people were saying, well, maybe Trump can't win Wisconsin. I think we have a very good chance, especially with all of the independents. Do you think I'm going to win? Stand up, you two. Stand up with that beautiful blonde hair. You think we're going to win? All right, good. That's so nice. So nice. So, thank you. I could see that enthusiasm, that incredible enthusiasm. We have a lot of enthusiasm. We have incredible enthusiasm. We were in Green Bay today. Now, Tom Brady's a friend of mine, okay? And Tom Brady, but Tom is great. No, but we have to recognize greatness. Let's face it. And Tom is a big fan of your quarterback. He said he's a great quarterback. That's good, right? Do you think you have a great quarterback? Absolutely. You have a great quarterback. How's your team going to be this year? Could be, right? Should be very good. You have a great team. And it's been so well run for so many years. It's a real tribute. When you hear Green Bay, it's a real tribute what they've done. But you should have a very good team. You should have a very good season. And I'll make you a deal. If I win, I'm coming up to a game. Okay? If I lose, I don't know. If I lose, maybe. If I lose, maybe not. I'll be a little bit. But if I win, I'm coming to a game. Okay? We have that deal. Who's going to give me a ticket? Just one ticket or two tickets? Melania, Donald, Melania, and how about we'll bring Ivanka, right? We'll bring Ivanka. But we'll come up to a game. I'd love that, actually. I would love to see. I passed Lambeau before, and it's beautiful. Boy, they've done a beautiful job on it. It looks great, and it's got history. And yet it's been upgraded, but it's got history, so it's got the best of everything. So here's the story. So we have a country that doesn't win anymore. Our trade has been taken away from us. We make the worst trade deals of any human beings maybe that ever existed. And a lot of those deals aren't made because the politicians are so stupid. They're made because the politicians are taken care of by special interest groups. They're taken care of by lobbyists that represent companies that are in oil or in lumber or in electric or in pharmaceuticals. And the guys I'm running against, I'm self-funding my campaign, folks. I have a lot of money in this thing. I have a lot of money in. And, I've turned down so much money. Jeb Bush had the record. He had $148 million. Now I think Hillary's going to have more, and who knows. But Jeb Bush, Boo is right. But Jeb Bush had like $148 million. If I would have taken money, I would have had 3 times that amount. More. I could have had whatever I want. I turned down so much money. And I'll be honest, I don't know if it's really necessarily appreciated. When people go in, they don't say, do you agree with me? You understand what I mean? I'm in for a lot of money. And I don't know that it's really appreciated from the standpoint that when you go into the booth, say, oh, well, I like Trump, and I don't like Cruz, but I like Kasich. I don't know why, but that's okay. No. But I think I'll vote, let's say, for this one or that one. But I don't think anybody says, Trump is self-funding. That means he's not controlled by all of the special interests. I'm only controlled. I'm controlled by one special interest. You know what the special interest is? You. It's the people. That's why I'm doing this. I just had a beautiful grandson, and number 8, Theodore James, like Theodore Roosevelt, Theodore James, and, I'm doing it for the whole thing. And look, our country is in trouble. We have no borders. Our health care is a disaster. Obamacare is going to be repealed and replaced. Our Second Amendment is totally under siege. You know that. It's under siege, what's going on with the Second Amendment, and so many other things. Look, we don't win anymore. Our country doesn't win anymore. And what I started when I first came down on June 16th, hard to believe, here we are, politician for all these months. I never thought I'd be a politician in a million years. And by the way, nobody respects women more than Donald Trump. That I can tell you. Nobody. And nobody will be better to women, and nobody will give greater security to our country for women, and in that case for everybody. Nobody but Donald Trump. Believe me, we're going to have our strong borders. We're going to have our wall. We're going to stop the drugs from pouring in and poisoning. We're going to stop the drugs from pouring in. It's pouring in and poisoning our youth and others. we're going to have a real country again. We're going to make America, look at all the red hats, we're going to make America great again. And it's going to, even the white hat I like very much, okay? But we're going to make America great again. We're going to do it. We're going to have strong borders. We're going to have an unbelievably strong military. You know, our military has been depleted, totally depleted. And we can't beat ISIS. We can't beat, I don't know, it's just, I don't want to say we can't beat anybody. I just don't want to say it. I refuse to say it. But I see these generals, they're leaving the military. General Ordiano, good man. He leaves the military a number of months ago, and he's talking about it. And he's saying how, in terms of preparedness, we're just about the least prepared that we've ever been as a country. Now, I thought he was talking about since World War II. I think he was talking about like ever. And that's pretty sad. We're going to change that. And you know, in many respects, it's the cheapest single thing we can do. We're going to have a strong military so that nobody can mess around with us. Nobody. And I see some great vets back here. We are going to take care of our vets, okay? We're going to take care of our vets, fellas. We don't take care of our vets. Our vets are our great people, and we don't take care of our vets, and we're going to. Our vets are treated worse in many cases than illegal immigrants. They come in here, they get more benefits than the vets, and those days are over. It's over. It's part of the build-up of the military. So I see all these good-looking guys back here. How many vets do we have? Raise your hand. Don't even stand up. That's good. That's beautiful. We have, how many vets do we have in the audience generally? Yeah, a lot of vets. And the vets are being, they're being humiliated by the way we take care of them. So that's going to, and you've seen my plan, I assume. You've seen my plan in terms of health care and what's going to happen with the vets. And it's going to be something that's, it's not even a question of the money. You look at Phoenix, Arizona, where, by the way, I have tremendous support, including from Sheriff Joe. Do we love Sheriff Joe? I'll tell you, Sheriff Joe doesn't mess around because, you know, when we went to Phoenix, I had 21,000 people right near Phoenix, and Sheriff Joe has the border, and he's tough with his tents and the whole deal. And we had a lot of protesters. We had like 200 protesters. And they were very loud and very, you know, boisterous. And he said, oh, this isn't going to happen. And, you know, he walks right up to them. He walks right up. He looks them in the eye, and they just like, they're quiet. He's an unbelievable guy. So Sheriff Joe, they put their cars. We had 21,000 people, and the cars couldn't get through because they did a blockade of cars on the highway. So these cars couldn't get through. So they were being delayed tremendously, and there were tremendous traffic jams all the way back to Phoenix. And Sheriff Joe looked at it. He said, move those cars. They didn't move them. They chained themselves to the cars. He had his guys with chain cutters. Just walked right up, boom, boom, boom. They put 3 or 5 in jail. Everybody dispersed. They moved those cars. I'm telling you, in 5 minutes, that road flowed. It was so beautiful to watch. You saw that, right? It was unbelievable. It was, the way that road moved was, and we had no problem. And the problem you have is that we don't have people. Today they want to be politically correct. They want. Now, Sheriff Joe stood up to those people and says, you've got 2 minutes to take those chains off. They wouldn't take them off. Bing, boom, in jail. Everybody left. That was the end. And he endorsed me. And when Sheriff Joe endorses you, that means you're the best on the borders. Do you agree with that, right? When Joe endorses you, you're the best on the borders. But it tells you what happened with respect. It tells you what can happen. I tell you what, it shows it's so strong. When you respect it as somebody that's special, when you respect it, when you have that kind of a reputation, and it's a good reputation. It's not a bad, it's a great reputation. There's going to be law and order. Then you have other cases where you have people that don't act like that. And you have protesters or agitators, because they're actually agitators. And we've been here now, we've done a number of these. We haven't had a problem. I mean, it's been really great. And, you know, we owe a great deal to the police, because the police of our country do a fantastic job. So, they really are. These are fantastic people, and they don't get enough credit, I'll tell you what. And they take a lot of abuse, and they shouldn't be taking abuse. And, you know, if there's one bad apple, they end up being on the news for weeks. And it doesn't, you know, they don't talk about the way they're supposed to be talking. So I just want to thank the police, and the police here have been phenomenal. You know, we turned away thousands of people outside. Not a problem, other than they're not exactly thrilled. Okay, if anybody wants to give up their seat, you can sell it for a lot of money right now. But so I just want to thank the police because they've done a fantastic job. So when I started on June 16th, it was amazing. Coming down the escalator with Melania, and I talked about trade and I talked about borders. Then you had Paris, and it changed everything. And we went way up. We just had a great NBC poll just came out yesterday. Was 48% to like in the 20s. Somebody was in the 20s. And I mean, we're doing really great. But it began with trade, and it began because I get sick and when I look at these trade deals that are made, these grossly incompetent trade deals, where we lose so much money with every country virtually that we do business with. That's going to end, folks. They take our jobs, they take our money, and it's going to end. It's going to end as sure as you're sitting there or standing there. A lot of people standing, but that's going to end. It's going to end quickly. But it started with that, and it started with the border. It started with illegal immigration. You remember I made this statement about illegal immigration? That it was like the furor. And then people found out I was right. You had the killing of Kate in San Francisco, the killing in California of Jamil, whose father's a friend of mine, who's an amazing guy. And this young son was going to be an amazing person, going to go to football scholarship, good student, good everything. And he was shot in the face 3 times by an illegal immigrant, somebody that shouldn't have been there. And it started with that. And then it really morphed in after Paris, more so than anything else, because you had the San Bernardino horror show. But after Paris, more than anything, where 130 people were killed. And you talk about the Second Amendment. You know, I always say very simply, Paris is the toughest gun laws in the world, they say. So let's assume it's one of the toughest. In other words, you can't have guns unless you're a bad guy. These guys walked into the various places. They killed 130 people. Many, many people are in the hospitals. They'll be in the hospitals for the rest of their lives. And they'll die. They'll die. You're going to have many more deaths there. It was a horrible event. And if there were guns in Paris shooting bullets in the opposite direction, number one, they may not have even gone in, okay, to be honest, right? They may not have even gone in. But if they did go in, you're not going to have 130 people dead. You're going to have some other people dead. And certainly it would have been obviously bad, but it would have been nothing like it is. So we have to protect our Second Amendment, folks. We have to protect it. So it started with the trade, and then it went into the border and illegal immigration, and then it became military, and then a lot of great polls started coming out. CNN said Trump is the best on the military. Trump is the best on leadership. Trump is the best on everything. I mean, I was the top of everything other than one thing, personality. They said he's not as nice a person. And I said, who cares? I mean, does it matter at this point? And let me tell you, I'm a better person than these people I'm running against, believe me. Believe me. Believe me. And I'm going to put people back to work, and I'm going to bring our jobs back, because we are a disaster, what's happening to our country. When you see Carrier leaving the country, when you see Pfizer, you know, the great pharmaceutical company, leaving our country for Ireland, you see what's going on, folks. We're not going to have any companies left anymore. We're not going to have any jobs left anymore. So we're going to straighten things out. April 5th is so important because we have, you just take a look at Time magazine, the covers for a lot of covers. I've been on so many covers of Time now. Oh, you have one? Oh, there it is. Hold that high. Hold that high. See that? That's one. That's one. It's amazing, this political thing. I think I've been on Time once or twice in my life, and now I've been on like 4 times in the last 3 or 4 months. I mean, it's pretty cool, but it's only cool if we win. Because I got a call from one of the great writers, and he said, how does it feel? And I said, what? How does what feel? He said, what you've done has never been done before, ever. First of all, I'm not a politician, which I'm so proud of. But he said, how does it, because I built a great company, and that's the thinking we need. I built a great company and some of the greatest assets in the world, low debt, tremendous cash flow, and it's the kind of thinking we need. That's the kind of thinking we need. We have $19 trillion in debt. We're sitting on a bubble, and every country in the world is ripping us off on trade and other things. For instance, it was asked of me the other day, just sitting there asking a question about NATO. And I gave an answer that, like, I don't think anybody's given. It's